So going towards the future, what do you think is possible for Kreg? What do you guys think of his internet show idea?
His internet show idea?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I think it's a great idea because when it comes to networking on the computers and social network, I mean, how many people out there, and everybody has such odd sense of humor and what they think is funny and not funny. I mean, if you can tap in on just the tiniest bit of that.
I think you're going to need a moral story or some growth. You need to show some growth other than just a man in his 40s dancing around with a hat on. You're going to need some sort of progression with Greg and with the story.
But don't you think that, I mean, you guys already kind of touched on earlier, don't you think his natural progression from here on out is only going to be consequence? I mean, from the way
it
he
is
lives his
consequence
life.
for all of us, right? But
Well, I mean, some people are proactive in the decisions that they make to try to guide and steer their life. I mean, we're all at the fate of,
I think Greg
reaction, but some people just kind of get pulled along, whereas other people are actually out in front running towards something.
he just needs to work on his karma. The whole idea that he has a black cloud sometimes, and so that he needs to become happy-minded and see that, put out positive thoughts so that these things that he works so hard for, he works way too hard to be in the situation he's in.
And I think he needs to stop feeling guilty. I think
For what?
I think he carries guilt for a lot of various different things in his life, whether it be mom and dad, Miles, so forth. I think he needs to stop feeling guilty. Instead of feeling guilty, actually do something about it.
Do you guys think that he's a happy person? Or do you think he's on the edge?
I think he's depressed.
Think he's like on the edge or like falling off into the abyss?
I don't think he's quite that bad. I think we've been at points.
Yeah,
like that.
I used to worry, not so much anymore, but I used to worry that I would either, one, walk in on him dead, or two, I'd get a phone call.
Mhm.
See, I used to think about if I actually would think we get a call from Carl being like, hey,
Yeah, I used to, I don't think it's so much.
Greg died while you were away, you should come back for the funeral kind of thing.
So you've thought the same thing.
I have, well, like, he would go
Yeah.
stints where he wouldn't answer his phone
Yeah,
for
exactly.
many days on end, and you just couldn't get a hold of him, and you
And he's
just
like,
wonder.
pencil thin or
Yeah,
whatever.
I wonder. Yeah, because he would not eat, and he would drink all the time, and you're just like, I wonder if this is the time that the phone rings and it's.
Well, him and cousin Shelley, we thought they were both dead in his apartment one time.
Yeah, that was.
And I'll never forget, I was so upset with Greg because he knew days in advance I was picking him up at a certain time. And he wouldn't answer the door, wouldn't answer my phone.
I took pills. She gave me some pills.
It's
and it knocked
okay,
me out.
but it still doesn't excuse the fact you had an obligation the
I
next
know
day.
it. I didn't know it was going to be that.
And I was mad that they wouldn't answer the door. And then my mom, and we already have this in the back of our head. We already have this idea that he's probably dead.
Yeah. So
Because we always think
something.
that.
I'm sorry.
And so then I'm driving and she goes, I've already gotten on the Kellogg because I've given up trying to roust him if he's even alive. And so I get in the car and she goes, well, what if they're dead? And I said, well, they're going to be dead whether I come or not. So I'm on my road already. I said, if they're dead, they'll be dead when I get back. I've got to get this project done. We had a project due for mom or something. We were supposed to help her with something. I think we built her
Fence.
deck. No, it was a deck.
Is it dead?
I can't remember.
Because you guys are at the point you're just going to let him live his life, right?
Yeah, there's not. I mean, we've tried doing the intervention. He's gone. We tried sending him off to rehab. We tried having him live with one of us. We've tried just.
I haven't
do his
bitch
thing.
slapped you, which is my next move.
I know.
But
I
I
feel
do-
bad. This is like it
but
was,
I
it was
think-
fun. Now I feel like a big turd.
But I think though, like where he is right now in his life, I think him,
Maybe you just didn't know
I think
how he
him being
felt.
out on his own and having his business
what
is
we
a
think.
really good step.
Yeah.
I think it's a huge step for him, and to not be with Bill anymore. I think that's a big step.
Well, and I never discount anybody, and I'm not discounting Greg at all. He has potential. Whether he reaches it or not, that's his deal. But I still believe it's there for him.
Let's say that he went back into one of his downward spirals again, lost the apartment, lost the business, whatever, and needed to come back and ask either one of you if he could come live with you
He
again.
can.
I would say no. But there's a side note to that because Carl and I have talked about this. That I would say no because I've already put my part in regards to him living with me. Because he lived with me for such a long period of time. And plus just, my lifestyle is different now than what it was when Greg lived with me. I was single too. I was married for a brief moment. But I was single too, so two single people in a house, but
And
now-
Rocky didn't help that
Yeah,
situation
exactly,
either.
but
Yeah,
now-
Rocky kind of perpetuated the fuck.
But since I have, since I live with somebody, then, I'd have to, it's like making a choice. Do I let my brother come live with me again, or do I put a strain on a relationship? Because whether you say it's going to or not, it's going to
Well,
strain a relationship.
I never would ask,
Yeah, and again, but see, then Gray may say, I don't think he would ask me knowing
No.
where I am in my life right now.
But you take him back?
Oh, yeah. I have a guest room. He can have at it. I don't care. But he's going to be helping. I won't have to hire a cleaning lady at that point. He'll be doing it. He'll be
your
scrubbing the
bitch.
floors and shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as we all kind of say we're not going to help him anymore sometimes, at times we say, okay, I'm not going to help him anymore, do this or do that. We always, we love him. We always end up helping him. I mean, I asked him how much his child support was and see if I had enough money to pay it off for him, I mean, it's great.
But on the other
How
hand,
can you not love Greg?
he's been at the drop of a hat for me.
Yeah.
I mean, if I needed help, he'd be there.
Oh,
He
yeah.
would do whatever. So why wouldn't
I
I?
asked him once, I said, I'm painting a room because he wants some help. Sure. And he came over and helped me paint the room. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's weird. It's like, we're disappointed, but we always know we can rely on him at
We
the
can
same
make him
time.
feel
It's
good.
weird. It's,
If we can make him feel good enough today, he might come over and help me build that deck on
I
us.
bet he would. Yeah.
So is there any last things that you think the world needs to know, or any last ideas or thoughts or stories of
He has an
Kreg?
enlarged testicle.
Really?
And, let's see. I think it would be a shame to anyone if they didn't take the time to get to know Kreg. Both.
Well, they're probably going to meet one and the other in all due time, right?
Yeah, I do. I think it's a shame to anyone to not take the time to get
So
to know
how are you
to
gonna
all you
take-
ladies out there.
How are you going to take Kreg within this segments and make him back to Greg? Can you see a progression? I mean, if we're going to do this,
I don't ever see Greg because by the time I get into town, he's
So
already
is
been
Kreg?
drinking.
Well, he's not
Yeah.
Greg right now.
No, because he
So what
wakes
did he
up.
do?
He wakes up. He's kind of hungover from the night before, and he starts drinking as soon as he gets up. So he's like instantly pulled back into where he was
I
last
only do that
night.
on the weekend.
Sbecause
Because it's fun, the weekends are fun.
Because see, we do see Greg. We do.
but you can always tell when he comes to family gatherings, he's been
When-
living it up.
Yeah.
He's got that smirk, that shitty grin. He's like,
And sometimes he turns. And sometimes he turns to
Mom.
Craig. Yeah, he turns to Craig once we're with him. It does take a shift. But that's it for me.
Is that it for you, Carl?
oh, I could go on, but really, Greg's worth loving and he's worth hanging with. So.